If you're thinking about selling your home, get a quick home value estimate, even if you don't have equity. We've been helping a lot of people recently that are in negative equity positions that have to do a short sale. If that is something that is of interest, we have been doing them for almost 20 years. So DuncanDuo.com, get a quick home value estimate, get an instant cash offer, and get help if you need to avoid foreclosure and sell your home via short sale. I'm excited to have a special guest. Grant, you've been on the show, but it's been a long time. Way back in the day, you were on the show.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
Probably, maybe pre-COVID.
Yeah,
I don't
for
know.
sure. So it's been
definitely
7 years
it
for
was
sure.
the older iHeart building.
Yep. So Grant has been with me a really long time, and I teased this conversation on the show last week because, I joked about the commercial real estate industry and how different that is than residential. I've dabbled a little bit in my own investing in commercial and have a client here and there that you personally have worked with that will look at different, usually like auto, just because it's kind of a passion of mine. And I have a bunch of buddies that own shops and all this. And so, one of the things I think is funny about the commercial real estate industry, first and foremost, is how low tech it is. The commercial real estate industry is like dinosaur-esque. Like even when you look at the websites of a lot of the commercial real estate agencies, comparing it to residential, it's like, is this still like 2016?
100%. It feels so antiquated compared to the MLS or just to the residential side of things.
And I think obviously there's fewer people doing it. It doesn't have as much growth with like private equity. You're starting to see more of it, but you don't have as many of these huge brokerages joining and then getting these big tech stacks and being able to invest in tech. And the way the consumer searches, typically, I think a lot of real estate brokerages kind of evolve their technology to try and keep appealing to a younger audience and a younger home buyer and the high-tech crowd. The commercial really doesn't have to do that because there's not a lot of people coming right out of college in their 20s that want the most updated tech that are buying commercial real estate.
100%. It's completely old school.
Yeah,
like everything about it's old school.
Yeah, it's a lot of guys that have been doing it a long time. They're looking for a good cap rate. They're looking at different things. But the other thing that I find hilarious, and I personally have challenges with this all the time, whenever I have a client that's inquiring about a commercial property, you've helped a lot of them, and sometimes I'll just reach out and want to ask the agent a question. They don't answer their phone.
No,
they don't answer their phone.
And
it's like you expect to get, literally like commercial real estate agents, like my experience, and look, I'm sure there's some of them out there that are going to go on my social media and be like, I always answer my phone, and you don't answer your phone either, Andrew. But I have people that like, if you call my office, you can get someone on the phone. Like I'll have questions and I'll send an email, won't get an answer. And then 2 or 3 days later, it's like I'm calling and leaving that. It's like days go by. Where in the residential real estate industry, there's such this expectation of responsiveness. And, I was talking to a couple buddies about it, and I think it's obviously the access to the data. Like with residential, you have these huge portals that have all the data that most of the time the customers can get the data, and you're dealing mostly with customers that have this high expectation of expedience. And with commercial, I think, again, that a lot of people just don't have that expectation. And I think agents simply don't operate with the same mentality that a residential does because their clients don't think the same way either, but it is a lot of like not answering a phone. And, when I have clients that come to us and work with you, the thing that I hear repeatedly is, dude, Grant always answers his phone.
Right.
Like, it's amazing. Like, I've never had a commercial agent that calls me back on a Friday night or, talks to me on the weekend or actually responds. He goes, I usually am like asking them, and then they might tell me, oh, I'll call you back when I'm in the office on Monday. And, and I think obviously you came from residential, so you kind of had that same, you had that, you spent years in residential before the years that you spent in commercial. So you had that kind of customer service responsiveness mindset.
Right. And that's kind of the mentality I took into commercial because I remember sitting down with you one day and saying, Andrew, we're getting a lot of people, a lot of customer clients contacting us who want to buy or lease or sell commercial
real
property,
estate, and we didn't have an option for them.
And we're outsourcing it to other brokerages.
And then getting the complaints back.
And then I'm getting the complaints back. So, my thought was, Andrew, hey, let's open our own division of commercial and let's give those clients the same type of treatment, VIP treatment that we give our residential team. Because I came, like you said, I came from the residential. I'm used to working nights. I'm used to working weekends. And that's one of the things I found when I got into commercial is
you actually call me back.
Right. I would call people back. And I remember the first time I called a listing agent to see if I could show a property on a Saturday, he laughed at me. He goes, no, I don't show property on Saturday.
It's like,
we'll do Monday.
I saw, it's funny. Like I saw something not long ago that was really interesting, and it was some sort of influencer or probably a guy that sells courses that I probably don't necessarily agree with everything he said, but one of the things he said was that, like, you know, if you own a business or you're in sales and you're taking weekends off, you're getting crushed. Like, you're getting crushed. And that's not to say that you can't take a weekend off, right? Like, everyone needs to take time off.
Right.
Everyone needs, you know, but like realistically, like if you're in real estate sales, whether it's residential or commercial, the most free time your clients have, because if they can afford to buy the property, they're probably working during the week. The free time that they have to actually ask questions and go out and look at properties, it's on the weekend.
On the weekend.
So how in the world can you expect to like not, you know, respond to that? And so that's been the feedback. I've had multiple clients that, you know, have reached out. We've worked with some automotive clients looking at car dealerships. We've worked with people buying land. You just sold a site that's, I think, going to be used for a car wash. I think it's going to be a car wash. And water.
It was initially going to be a car wash, but the folks who bought it are going to redevelop it into a school for kids with special needs.
That's right.
So it's
we sold that at, what was that, 1.775. Yeah. So and then we just put a church property, I think it was, under
Nebraska.
contract.
Fantastic.
And that was over, I think, $2 million. So again, you know, when we've done commercial stuff downtown, we've had our commercial division has done land deals above $10 million downtown, helping people buy for development. So we definitely have done kind of a broad variety of different commercial stuff. And you actually went out and got the education, which I think was probably key. You went and did a lot of training and certifications. And LPT, our brokerage, has their own commercial side. But a lot of this we started before we joined LPT, and they've certainly added some on top of that. But you went out and got the education and then the experience. You shadowed some commercial agents. You went through it, because a lot of people, like even agents that work for us sometimes, are like, oh, I have this client, I want to help him with commercial. And I'm like, no. You have absolutely no idea what you're doing. You are going to step in a hole. You don't know this.
It should almost be a completely different license, in my opinion.
I really do think it should be, because and it is litigious. It's interesting because our brokerage actually has a fee structure that basically responds to the fact that they know it's litigious. And I think a lot of the reason they know it's litigious is because residential agents are doing things that they don't understand and don't know, and, you know, causing problems. So I agree with you. I could see a strong argument for why it could be a separate license. But again, the service side of it is what people don't understand, how important that is to differentiate us. And so if you're listening to this and you're somebody that buys commercial real estate or sells commercial real estate, you lease commercial real estate, you can actually contact Grant directly, 813-777-4512, grant@theduncanduo.com. Again, his direct line is 813-777-4512. Call or text. You can also go to our website. He's on there. You know, you can contact him through there as well and at our main office. But the reality is that that's what we wanted to have as a differentiator. We wanted to say, look, if we're going to start a commercial side of our business, we don't just want to like launch it and not be able to properly help the people. You went out and sought the education. You kind of worked as an apprentice. You learned, you did all these things. But the other thing that I find wild about commercial too, and this happens some in residential, but how often the commercial deals happen from just knowing people. Like knowing people,
100%.
Dude, like your Rolodex, like you know bankers, like I remember you even had a conversation. We pulled a deal together from something you heard about at your barbershop.
Right.
Like that's the kind of
like $7 million auto deal.
Yeah. That's this kind of stuff that happens when you're kind of plugged in, and like a lot of these guys go to these certain places, and then you meet, you network with them. And even the stuff that your wife does in her industry, you're coming across people that are, that are going to have needs for commercial real estate. So what do you think? What are some other differences that you think? Obviously, we've talked about like the tech and the service and the difference between responsiveness, but the complexities probably are one.
There's a lot more to it. So from basic things like redlining letters of intent and contracts to, which is simple, but a residential agent,
there's no LOIs.
They don't know anything about that. Just to inspect, different inspections. You're doing
due diligence.
You're doing
like
environmental phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 studies. There's just way more variables involved in the commercial side of things than in the residential. Hence, that's why the deals take longer to close a lot of times.
And we actually have real estate agents, residential agents at other companies that refer us commercial because they realize, like, number one, they don't want to do a bad job for the client, and then they lose the residential business because they mess it up, right?
Correct.
And it's simply because they also understand that you protect them. if you're a, residential real estate agent out there and you're looking for somebody to refer, certainly if you're with LPT, obviously there'd be no reason for you not to come to Grant. But if you're at another brokerage, Grant is not going to compete with you on the residential people. He's going to help serve your clients on the commercial. And if they ever come back to us for residential, we're giving it right back to you.
Absolutely.
We're not trying to take anything from you. We're simply trying to make you look better and do a good job servicing your clients. And we have a lot of agents that refer directly to you.
Correct. Yeah. I have no desire to take anyone's residential clients. That's 100%. Because I know if I do that, you're not going to call me for commercial business.
And that's your runway. That's your wheelhouse. That's what we want to focus on. We'll sign whatever, we'll sign whatever you need us to sign. Like our goal is really servicing the commercial side in our commercial division so that you can still shine on the residential, because it does happen. Back, before we had really launched our commercial division, we would have agents that, kind of didn't follow our team structure and is like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and take this. And then they would mess it up. And then the client's like, I'm never going to, I'm never going to use you to buy or sell my residential again because you botched this so bad because you didn't know what you were doing.
Absolutely.
And that's what a residential agent risks right now in doing it. And again, if you're a residential agent, I'm sure you refer to commercial agents before, and I'm sure you've been frustrated because I have too before we launched our own. I'm certain that won't be the case here. If you do refer to Grant, again, 813-777-4512, Grant at theduncanduo.com. If you refer to him, he's going to be responsive because he used to do what you did. He knows how important it is to keep you in the loop.